but where do you decide where on your neck or under your jaw to chop it off?
There's two things. One, if my barber gives me a line like back here. Right now, they can't go really do anything down here.
Because you got a mask?
Right. So sometimes they'll hit the spot, and then I'll find it, and then I'll just follow it.
Okay.
If I haven't gotten a haircut in 3 weeks or whatever, I usually just follow the jawbone right here.
Okay, so you leave it up to the jurisdiction of your barber.
A lot of times, yeah.
Do you trust this man
I
or
do.
woman?
Yep. Big Matt.
Okay. All right. Just curious, because some people say, like, top of your Adam's apple, and if I were doing that, I would just basically have a neck beard. And that would show more than anything that actually grows north of my jawline.
Yes, I feel like if you go the jawline, you're fine every time.
Yeah. And I kind of did that this time, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. So, okay. Anyway, thank you for that.
The insight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had one since No Shave November, my senior year of high school.
Oh, really?
Minus the one time I shaved it all off when the Seahawks lost to the Falcons that January. The year before they won the Super Bowl.
2012 or 16? Oh, okay.
13.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, technically.
Technically.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha. What's up?
Thanks for the conversation, man.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, we're back here in the locker room. Episode number 37
All right.
here in on Spokane Talks. And back to two of us, so that's cool. Welcome back.
Thanks, man. Good to be back.
Nice stripes.
Yep, appreciate it.
It's not clashing, is it? I don't know, with the vertical stripes on the back wall.
The theory is that, like, I'm so white that if I'm going to wear white, hopefully that'll show a little contrast in my skin.
Is it?
It does not do that very much. But, hey, summer's coming. I could get a nice shade of pink on.
Are you telling yourself that, or someone else told you that?
No, I tell myself that. But I'm real with myself.
That's fair.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, last week I had the extreme pleasure of doing your job right now, and I loved it. So definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, you know what I missed?
Me talking awesome things about it after the fact?
No, more so just talking about Lucky Bird in general.
Fair enough.
Because you guys know we're back, and Lucky Bird never left, because this show is sponsored by Lucky Bird, our Spokane-based e-commerce and digital marketing company dedicated to helping local companies scale in the online world of e-commerce and digital marketing. We want you guys to visit luckybirdbrands.com to have a down-to-earth, no-pressure conversation about your digital marketing and e-commerce strategies today and every day.
You know what today is?
March 18th.
It is. Yesterday, St. Patrick's Day.
Nailed it.
Very lucky holiday. And you want to know what you can do to keep that luck running year-round?
What's that?
Use Lucky Bird.
Oh,
yeah.
Very nice.
I have determined that, and I'm positive, and I am 100% sure that will be the case. It's 10:14 here on Thursday morning. Whew.
Yeah.
March 18th.
Yep.
Any questions, comments on the show? Feel free to put that on our Facebook. I think this mic keeps moving on me. And we will continue to answer questions just like we did last week and the weeks before. But first, we have a lot of NFL free agency stuff going on. It's prime free agent season for the NFL. The legal tampering period started on Monday, which is – the NFL's so weird. Like, that's such a weird term, the fact that they can have a legal tampering period.
I love all the writers making fun of it, though.
It is pretty funny.
Distinguishing the legal tampering versus the illegal period.
Yeah. Right. Yesterday became official, all the moves that happened during the legal tampering period. And the Patriots went wild. Absolutely wild. In a very unpatriotic way.
Nice.
Maybe. Coward.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Coward on the show yesterday said that the moves were very Patriot-like. And that might be true. But, man, they spent a lot of money.
So, with all of that being said, and that all transpiring over the last couple of days, how do you think Bill felt about the season and the roster that they put out there on the field last year?
Well, the crazy thing about the roster they put out on the field last year was the roster that he put out on the field last year. So it's like, I wonder if he's looking at it like, man, that one got away. That was a large oversight on my part.
Well, okay, so they doubled down on the tight ends. Obviously, they got two of probably
Patriots.
The two most coveted tight ends in free agency in Jonnu Smith, who they definitely overpaid for, and Hunter Henry. So I think they're going to go back to running a ton of 12 personnel just because they haven't had, a decent tight end since Gronk and even his last year or so there.
Who else?
Hernandez.
R.I.P.
Yep. That really threw me off. Sorry. But anyway, so they're probably going to go back to I don't know, running the ball a lot of two tight end sets. You got to think that maybe they're going to try to get Cam running early in the game
and
get him a little bit more activated, get him actually invigorated in the game instead of just dropping back and, throwing
they're going to go back to what the Patriots were in the mid-2000s to early 2010s, and that was, again, like the two tight end sets, a very strong running game, a strong defense, because the Patriots didn't lose anybody from last year. If anything, they gained them because of all the guys who ended up opting out are now coming back. The Patriots spent, where they were the sixth team in NFL history to hand out more than $100 million in guaranteed money during the free agency period. Those other teams, none of which won a playoff game, the 2016 Giants, the 2018 Chicago Bears, thank you, Adrian, 2018 and 19 Jets, and the 2020 Dolphins. Now, if we look at some of these signings, Olivier Vernon, this was the 2016 Giants, Janoris Jenkins, Damon Harrison, not very good. The Bears went after Allen Robinson, Trey Burton, Kyle Fuller, Prince Amukamara. I don't understand this whole idea of spending a boatload of money on free agents. The problem is you just don't know how they're going to fit in the scheme. And I know Coward said that these guys are all Patriot guys. You know, you have the two tight ends. Both Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry had some injury problems last year. Matthew Judon was a solid pass rusher in Baltimore, but that's because they had already other good pass rushers, so we'll see how that fits.
I think they're going to drop him in coverage a lot based on what I've heard and read. Is that, that's actually where his skill set lies, and he's not exactly a pure pass rusher, but more result of circumstances around him that led to some of the sack numbers.
That'll be interesting to see. He's a big motor guy.
And they got Kyle Van Noy back.
Kyle Van Noy, that re-signing was important for them.
Also, that money they gave to Aguilar.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, in replacing Aguilar, gave John Brown, who I think is probably still at this stage of his career an overall better receiver than Nelson Aguilar, at least more proven or on a consistent basis.
The only thing he doesn't have is the health.
Yeah,
John Brown just has muscle issues, but he's definitely, I think, better than Aguilar, especially in the hands department.
Aguilar did, to his credit, have a really good season last year, but it's just so weird to see the Raiders last year have him at value, and then to see a team like the Patriots this year absolutely overpay for him.
Yeah. The other interesting one, Jalen Mills, former Eagles corner who sucked for the Eagles. I mean,
really bad,
everybody torched Jalen Mills. The other last interesting one was Kendrick Bourne, 3-year, $22.5 million deal. Former Niners wide receiver.
Didn't he go to EWU?
Yes. Yep.
And
so, the Eastern players got paid this offseason.
They did.
Sam Ubakam went to, I think, the Niners or the Cardinals.
I want to say Niners.
And he got another, I think, $20+ million deal, defensive end out of Eastern Washington. Good on them. The other moves around the league we'll quickly mention that are interesting. Patrick Peterson leaving the Cardinals, finally, getting a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Vikings. He's definitely on the downward trend of his career. He relied on his athleticism, I think, a lot, and so you've seen that here in the last few years. But I'm not sad to see him leave. We'll get to the Seattle one here in a second. Curtis Samuel leaving the Panthers, going to the Washington football team. Kind of a Swiss, kind of utility kind of guy.
Yeah, they got speed there and a quarterback who has nothing to lose and is just going to let it rip. I'm all on the football team now that Ryan Fitzpatrick is there. Riverboat Ron, got to love that defense. They got some interesting pieces. Honestly,
they do.
And especially being in that division, it's not like anything's sealed or locked or guaranteed there at the top anyway. So
no,
they're I don't know. I think they're primed to have a very feisty season.
I think so too. Hassan Reddick leaving the Cardinals, going to the Panthers. Again, not sad to see him leave. He wreaked havoc on Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks offense. What else? AJ Green going to the Cardinals on a 1-year kind of not even a prove it deal because he's so old. He's probably never going to get a long-term deal again.
Everybody just is signed or was traded to the West.
Right. I know the West was really active both in gaining and losing players. AJ Green got a 1-year, $6 million guaranteed deal up to $8.5 million.
49ers trade for former Pro Bowl center Alex Mack.
And re-signed Trent Williams, arguably the league's top tackle.
To the largest contract for
massive 6 years, $138 million with just over $40 million guaranteed and a $30 million signing bonus. You know the signing bonus we got when we hopped on board here?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I do remember that.
Give or take. And the big one, then we have Andy Dalton going to the Bears. And this is where we're going to link into the Seattle talk here for a second. Awesome news if you're a Seahawks fan, in my opinion. I don't think losing Russell Wilson would have been the correct call for the franchise, and I don't think anyone should have been excited to see him leave without an absolutely killer deal. And the Bears almost offered it. Almost. 3 first-round picks, a third, and 2 starters of Seattle's choice. Nobody was blacklisted on that. They could have had Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks, 3 first-round draft picks, and a third-round draft pick for Russell Wilson. Thoughts?
I mean, I actually understand why Seattle turns the deal down and why they're going to continue to turn deals down unless they're getting a quarterback that they can, actually use, put out there on the field to actually make the offense run, not just throwing in Geno Smith or whoever. They don't want a stopgap. They don't want a temporary quarterback. They don't want to go through the process of searching or trying to draft one or trying to acquire one, unless it is a quarterback that they deem competent and worthy enough to actually go out there and run their offense. And they do still have weapons. And then, of course, they made the trade for Gabe Jackson. And so, by all accounts, that's a pretty solid upgrade to what we would assume he's going to be slotted in there at the left guard position, which Ayupati had and didn't have over the last couple of years. He was injured a lot. He also just wasn't his typical standard of play when he was in there. So I don't know. I also saw rumors that perhaps they're thinking of maybe moving Damian Lewis to center.
There have been
and
some
Postage back at either guard, and then Jackson at the opposite guard spot. So we were kind of fearing. There were a lot of reports that the Cardinals, the Niners, the Rams, but the Cardinals in particular would be favorites to land a very coveted position that was of need for Seattle, and a veteran and an all-pro, and that is Matt Prater. Just kidding. We're talking about Rodney Hudson.
Right.
They did a really good job, though, the Cardinals, on beefing up that offensive line to protect Kyler Murray. I thought they've actually done a really good job in free agency trying to fortify that offense.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the thing with Kyler Murray is if he stays healthy, he's a decent quarterback. He had problems staying healthy last year. Now that they have the line around him, the next goal and the next step would be, hey, dude, let's slide when you are outside of the pocket and about to take a massive hit to your face, your mouth hole.
Do you think he's not good? I think he's one of the few that are actually pretty good with the baseball background and getting down. I don't think his injuries were a result of him. He's not Robert Griffin.
Right. No. He's not terrible at it, but he needs to be. Every single quarterback needs to watch Russell. Every single mobile quarterback needs to watch Russell Wilson when he's outside of the pocket.
Yeah, you mean leave clean pockets and go where the trouble is? Yeah.
No.
Let's go find where the sharks are.
Russell Wilson probably takes 2 big hits a year. And that's about it. And that's the reason why he stayed so healthy over his career. But, no, I think they've done pretty well. You mentioned the Gabe Jackson trade, Seattle giving up a 5th-round draft pick for Gabe Jackson. Now they only have 3 draft picks here in the 2021 draft. They have a 2nd, a 6th, and a 7th, I think.
I think that sounds right.
2nd, 4th, 7th, or something like that.
And given the crapshoot that this draft could end up being just because of the COVID and the college football season and everything, I actually don't mind it on the part of the Seahawks. Trade. I mean, we're talking about Jamal Adams with, them giving up their first-round picks for last year and this year, as well as, trading the 5th for Gabe Jackson. So I actually don't mind them getting established veteran players that we know what they look like and what they are on a football field rather than, the speculation and conjecture of some of these guys that oftentimes Seattle take in maybe too high of spots based on a lot of analysis.
Quote-unquote experts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. And the last thing we'll talk about real quick, Seattle signing Gerald Everett, former Rams tight end, to a 1-year, $6 million deal. Actually got an A- on ESPN. A lot of people are talking about Gerald Everett. He's a 27-year-old tight end who hasn't gotten a ton of playing time in L.A. because they've always had tight ends in front of him. But a guy who has top 10 talent, according to this ESPN reporter / insider. Exciting for Seattle because they need somebody to attack that middle of the field. They haven't had it. You look at the most successful Seattle teams, Zach Miller, Jimmy Graham, for even the problems he had, still was able to attack the middle of the field, and Wilson was comfortable. Will Dissly, for the first 4 weeks of the 2019 season before he tore his Achilles, I think is what he did that time. This is, I think, a big deal for Seattle. Hopefully it ends up working out.
I think I saw a stat that he averaged like 5.6 yards after the catch, which is really good because he's going to be a massive upgrade to Jacob Hollister. And I made jokes all season about, exactly what's going to happen when Jacob Hollister runs an out. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to turn his neck ever so slightly upfield, and he's already tackled. So
Right.
Same result. So, yeah, to have a little bit of evasiveness and be able to put on some moves in the open field. We'll see if they actually use him in the screen game, too, because I was watching some of his highlights from last season, and they did utilize him in tight end screens, and he performed really well with those opportunities.
No, they definitely did, so I'm excited to see him. The last thing we'll mention here real quick is that the Jacksonville Jaguars are Seattle version 2.
The fact that they have
version 3, whatever you
Bevel
look at it,
and Schottenheimer
is super funny. So they have
weird.
They have Darrell Bevel, former Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. Brian Schottenheimer, obviously Seahawks former offensive coordinator. They have Brian Schneider, Seahawks former special teams coordinator, who's actually been with Pete Carroll for a long time, who left the team last season for personal reasons, and nobody knows why, but he's gone. Shaquille Griffin was just signed, former Seahawks corner, was just signed yesterday. They signed Carlos Hyde officially yesterday. They signed Philip Dorsett officially yesterday. And there's rumors that Shaquille's brother Shaquem will also be heading to Jacksonville, home again for the Florida Twins. I should have seen this coming, actually, because honestly, a week ago on Instagram, Shaquem Griffin was looking for real estate in Florida, and I should have seen it coming, and I could have done something with it, but I just didn't have that sort of forethought. So that's kind of funny. Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars will be an interesting story to watch moving forward. We have a question on Facebook.
Whoa.
I'll ask you here from Luke. In your opinion, he's a Patriots fan. He said, let's go Patriots.
Okay.
In your opinion, what is the Patriots' record as the team stands right now with the additions and the players that will be returning after the COVID season? They were, 7-9 last year?
Yeah, they're 7-9, but it felt a lot worse because when they lost, they lost bad.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be contending for a wild card spot. I don't think it's hard because obviously you would assume that the Bills are still going to be the front leader in that division. But the Dolphins also, if they can figure out something at quarterback, and we don't know if they're looking to make a trade at that position still, or if they're going to throw Tua out there, it's hard. I wouldn't want to give up on Tua just because it's such a small sample size and it was such a weird season last year.
He has throwing talent. He can throw the football.
He certainly does. And he was at least able to read coverages in college well.
Right.
I would guess anywhere from like 9-7 to 10-6 because I do think they're going to be a lot better.
Right.
I think Bill is pissed. I think this another kind of, and this is a small thing. It probably won't contribute to much, but when was the last time he missed the playoffs and had all these additional months to start planning for the? I mean, I'm sure he probably started planning during the 2020 season for the 2021 season, given how that was going. But I think they're going to be better, not a ton better. I don't think they're going to be a leader in the AFC, but
so he says that he agrees with 10-6.
Okay.
So I think their ceiling. So the NFL's actually most likely going to be playing a 17-game schedule next year. So let's keep that in mind, which is really weird because now it's going to throw everybody's knowledge of the NFL off. So I think their ceiling would be 11-6 in a perfect world where Cam Newton has to throw the ball 24 times a game, with 20 of those going to the tight ends and the other 4 going to Julian Edelman. And their defense returns to form. And I think their floor in a year where Cam Newton has to throw the ball 30-plus times consistently in a defense that regresses more toward average, I think they could be really as bad as 6-11. I think it's 11-6 and 6-11.
I don't think so. I actually think that floor at 6-11 is a little too low.
I mean, that is worst case scenario. I'm expecting them to go 10-7. Yeah, 10-7.
I think they're going to be flirting
maybe
with
9-8
wins.
Maybe, but they will be in contention for a playoff spot. That is what I will say.
Their defense is going to be good.
Especially
They're going to be well coached. I think they're going to go against the grain. It's like if you're going to in the NFL, it's kind of like going back to the 2019 49ers. What did they do? They zagged when everybody was spraying the offenses out and started throwing the ball all over the place. Nice. It's do something different than the rest of the league does and do it well.
Right.
And I know that Bill loves running the football. He loves his 2 tight end sets. I think they're really going to get back to a ground and pound, and I'm curious to see the varieties in which they run the ball and the schemes that they use. But I think they're going to be good.
All right. Cool.
Better than last year.
Better than last year. We will check and see what the Patriots do in the 2021-22 season. Next up, some NBA. I did talk a little bit of NBA last week.
Yeah, how'd that
thanks
go?
to my buddy Joel Oakland, who asked who I thought would win the NBA Finals.
And the answer being?
The Nets. And I am more every single day. They absolutely destroyed. I don't even remember who they played last night. They destroyed.
The Pacers.
Yeah, and that was without Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
That was without Kevin Durant. That was without Drummond. That was without Blake Griffin. I think it was without Drummond.
I don't think they
Didn't
have
they trade for
Drummond.
him? Didn't they sign him?
Unless I missed something huge, I don't think
Who
they have
signed
him.
Andre Drummond?
I don't think anybody has.
No, or there was rumors.
PJ Tucker just got traded, but
No, someone. There must have just been a rumor.
yeah,
Andrew. That's not what I meant to do.
nice.
Yeah, maybe not.
Anyway, I think you're right. Yeah, they
still,
don't even
not even
they
with
don't
them.
even need Kevin Durant to come back.
They don't need Kyrie. Look at that. They just stopped the Pacers, and
Yeah.
they didn't even have anybody.
Well, the Pacers also aren't that good, but
But they're better than that. You'd think.
not really. I mean, the Knicks
have
actually
DeMontis
almost took
Sabonis.
the. Yes,
The
they
Knicks
do.
are better this year. But
The Knicks, no, I was impressed with the Knicks in the way that they were able to climb back after a double-digit lead against the Nets. But yeah, Kyrie being like the off-ball guard has really unlocked him, and he can just like take over 4-minute segments of the games and just get bucket after bucket after
Right.
bucket. I mean, it's seldom that you see that guy miss. And honestly, with all the things that surround Kyrie and all the flack that we give him for some of his
just
quotes
too
and his
easy.
personality,
It's too
right,
easy.
and just some of the transgressions, that he's had on teams and the things that he's done, he is an incredible scoring talent.
Yeah, he is.
And I have enjoyed watching him play this year.
He's fun to watch.
And the other thing, James Harden's enjoyable to watch this year too, because he's not playing in that ISO-heavy dribble the ball for 19 seconds and then, take a step back or try to throw the ball if he doesn't get a good shot to another teammate and be like, oh, you do something with
Yeah.
it with, a second and a half
second,
left.
yeah.
But man, the Nets are really just fun to watch. Obviously, the Achilles heel, no pun intended, because Durant is still having
Yeah.
problems with that. But is their defense? But honestly, on most nights, I don't think it's going to matter.
No,
They're
if they
gonna
can score 135 points,
Yeah.
they'll be just fine.
and I think I don't know. Steve Nash, give him a lot of credit.
And they could, but if they wanted to, that's the crazy thing. If they wanted to play good defense, they could.
Exactly, and that's all it's going to take. Is
Get
for
to the
them
playoffs,
to just.
and they're like, we want to win. We're going to play defense.
Right. Well, and they have their role players. Bruce Brown has been a revelation, and they got Claxton coming off the bench, and he's playing a lot of times better than DeAndre Jordan, which isn't saying a ton. DeAndre is a bit of like he's
Yeah.
a little old.
He's
He's a little
doesn't
washed
quite
up,
fit.
but no, they just they're well-oiled. They're cooking right now. I really think the only threat to them is the 76ers, and that's only because of Embiid and the way that he'd be able to impose his size, which he does on everybody, but especially the way that Brooklyn roster is constructed. They don't
Right.
have a ton to combat that, especially not an aging DeAndre Jordan. Man, but the East at the top. Very good. And like I just mentioned, like Milwaukee just acquired PJ Tucker, so they're going to get some rotational defense, some rotational shooting. And
they
they're
can
playing
use
really
shooting.
well. And Giannis, even though nobody's going to vote for him for the MVP just because he's gotten 2 in a row and everybody's just over it, he's he's playing MVP caliber
Yeah,
basketball right
he's
now.
matching his statistics from the years past for sure.
Yeah, he is.
What else do we have to talk about? What else?
In
What other
the
NBA
NBA?
stuff? Yeah, let's.
I don't know. What do you want? I mean, Dame
Celtics are 2020,
the other night
right?
in the fourth quarter came back from 17
that was
points
cool.
and solidified, his clutch status. He's been clutch.
They were supposed to talk about it on Around the Horn, and they just didn't even do
They
it.
just didn't do it.
No, they didn't. They left PTI to talk about it.
PTI. Nice.
Yeah,
that was good.
People were watching right now like, God, that's the guy. That's
Yeah,
the guy
that
who
was
does the
the guy.
PTI whisper. All right, what else do we have?
Miami's 8-2 in their last 10, and after being outside of the first 10 seeds
They're still going.
earlier in the season, they're now in fourth. Jimmy Butler
yeah.
is everything. He is a constant heat culture guy, and to be honest, I wish he had spent more of his career in Miami. I would have liked to have
Right,
seen
yeah.
more Miami Jimmy Butler. New Orleans is kind of fun-ish to talk about just because they have Zion, even though he's unstoppable for the first, 44 minutes. Once they get down into the closing minutes of the game, they only draw up plays for Brandon Ingram, and they never work. And I don't understand what Stan's doing because nobody can stop Zion, and he's either going to get a foul, he is going to recognize a double team and kick it out to an open shot, or he's going to bully his way to the rim and put the ball in.
I still am not in on Zion completely.
Why is that?
and I get it, like he's really good at what he does, but all he literally has is driving to the rim.
It doesn't matter. It works better.
It works
than
for now.
anything.
It's not going to work forever though, because you look at his body shape already. Like he's put on weight since college, and I don't think it's good weight. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is.
I think that's fair.
He completely relies on his above average quickness and his extremely above average athleticism. And I just see in like 5 years.
Name a more entertaining thing to watch in the NBA than Zion with the ball in his hand at the top of the arc and just get into the rack.
I think LeBron's more interesting.
Wow. Okay. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, it threw you for a loop, didn't it? We
Uh,
have another question. What are the Joel, I guess my new NBA guy here. By the way, if you need to buy a house, he's a great realtor. Where do the Warriors end up this year?
I don't know. I think they're going to be a 9 or a 10 seed, and that's – I don't know. Steph just bruised his tailbone last night. That was a gnarly fall. I've had a couple tailbone things back in my heyday.
That sounds about right.
Those are brutal. It's tough when he's not in the lineup. Obviously, they're not going to win any games. It's all contingent upon whether Oubre and Wiggins can shoot. We've seen Oubre kind of have better he's been better as of late, but I don't know. There's just something about that team. Wiseman doesn't exactly know what he's doing out there. Occasionally he makes a big flashy play, but there's been some discipline stuff with him. He got sat for the majority of the game the other night because he missed 2 consecutive COVID tests. And people kind of push back on Steve Kerr for like instilling discipline. I'm like, dude, this guy, he's a rookie. He's first round pick. He hasn't done anything. He's had health issues. Like, you're not above anything. Be a professional and do your job. Anyway, the pushback on Steve Kerr sitting him out, I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah, that is weird.
But I think they're really going to have to clamor because I think they're sitting at 20-20 now. They were for a few weeks, like a couple games above 500, and they had been playing well, but I just don't think they have enough. I think they're probably a 9 or a 10 seed at best.
Right.
But I mean, if they do get in that position, I mean, they have Steph Curry, so it's not far-fetched to see them, making some noise and winning 2 consecutive games.
Yeah, well, look what he did to GU in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Whammy. Okay. That one hurt.
Yes.
That one hurt bad.
Wow.
Just like when he landed on his whammy last night.
Nice.
I don't know if that really fits, but I'm going to go
nice
for
double
it anyway.
whammy
there. Yeah, I think it's so weird because we haven't had Klay Thompson at all in 2 years.
I love seeing him on the bench just for morale, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Do you want to know what I think of the Celtics?
I do want a quick little report on the Celtics.
Okay. They're soft.
Yeah, they are soft.
They have no backbone. They have no personality. For their team being as young as it is, they shouldn't have to rely on Rob Williams and Marcus Smart to come off the bench and to give them a jolt of energy.
Yeah.
They don't have any personality. They don't have any grit. They obviously don't have really any playmakers. Marcus Smart is their best playmaker, and not that he's a bad playmaker, but you got to have that's the one thing.
If he's your top playmaker, you have problems.
Right, exactly. And that's the leap or the growth that still needs to be seen from Jalen and Jason to see them start elevating the play of their teammates rather than just isolated scoring that is great, to try to keep pace in the game, but ultimately doesn't, it doesn't involve their teammates. And so, when Semi Ojeleye finally gets a corner 3, it's like, okay, well, he hasn't touched the ball all game. So, odds of that going in, not great. I don't think they're actually going to use their player exception. I think they're going to wait until the offseason. So I know a lot of Celtics fans are clamoring for a John Collins or a Harrison Barnes or literally anybody, literally anything. They want to see something happen. And I think Ainge is like usual. He's going to sit on the asset and he's going to wait, and Boston fans are going to be pissed. But, yeah, they are a below-average team, and it's unfortunate because they have 2 of the best wings in the game.
Is Brad Stevens leaving?
No.
Okay. I don't think so either. I think that's a stupid report. I think that was
also, Indiana's just not a good job.
No, not right now.
I get it.
Why would you want it?
I get
There's
the history behind it. Yeah, it's not a good job.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, let's just go over our quick picks for midseason awards.
Okay.
MVP, I think at this point is still Embiid.
Yeah, at midseason for sure. But now that he's out, that's going to open, the door.
Yeah, if he doesn't come back soon,
freaking LeBron.
LeBron's going to push his way in there. I agree. So you have Embiid at the moment.
Embiid was the first half without a doubt.
Right.
MVP.
Rookie of the year, LaMelo. He's impressed me a lot more than I wanted him to. I really hoped he wouldn't do well because I hate that family, and I think they're ugly people. I've said that before. Not like their personality's ugly, which it is. Like they're literally like physically just not great looking.
Understood.
Just make that.
Yeah, LaMelo. Yes, incredible.
Defensive player of the year.
Ben Simmons.
Right.
Really?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, there have been so many games this year where it's been close in the fourth quarter, and then, a bona fide star is going at him, and he absolutely clamps them down. I mean, he's incredible.
To 4 points in the first half. I know Giannis ended with like 38, but he held Giannis to 4 points in the first half yesterday.
Yeah.
That was the only reason why the Sixers weren't getting dominated. Gobert has an argument, I guess.
Gobert definitely does.
Just
And
because
like
of
the
his
Celtics
blocking.
just played the Jazz, and it's like if you're getting into the paint and you're deciding to throw the ball like toward the hoop, whether it's for an oop or
Right.
for a shot, just stop. It's stupid. Like he's honestly really impressive.
You're
But
not
I
gonna
think
find your way into the
Ben
paint.
Simmons' versatility, because I mean the thing with Gobert is just once you get a switch on him, drag him out as far away from the basket as you can, and then try to do something with it. Ben Simmons, you can't pull that crap on.
No. Sixth man of the year.
I guess it's got to be Jordan Clarkson.
What's really weird about Jordan Clarkson, now that I'm looking up his stats here, so he's averaging the most points per game he has in his entire career, just actually a flat 18. His free throw percentage is at 97%, which is very impressive. Almost 4 rebounds a game, just over 2 assists, a 44% shooting from the field. Now, what's really weird is he's been a really good player his entire carear.
Mm-hmm. Well,
look
he hasn't been a winning player. He's put up good numbers on some pretty bad teams.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's averaged 12 points, 15, 14, 13, 14, 12, 6, 17, 15, 14, 15, 18. Like that's pretty consistent for a guy who, coming out of Florida, was a good player at Florida, but wasn't, not Florida. He's from Florida. He went to Missouri? Does that sound right?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I just
think he went to
remember when the
Missouri.
Lakers kind of discovered them when they were in their like very dark, miserable
Right.
years there, and it's like, oh, we got a little something in Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
And then he got super tatted up, and then he,
Yep.
got cornrows, and now he's on the Jazz.
Coach of the year.
Oh, that's tough. I want to give. It's probably going to go if the Jazz keep up their record and they end up being, the best team in the West and the best team overall. Is probably going to go to Quinn Snyder.
Rightfully
which
so.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
I think Nash deserves a lot of credit, if anything, for the personalities and just the volatility of that situation in Brooklyn, especially within the first month or two of the season.
Especially at the beginning of his hiring, when everyone was like, "You can't hire Steve Nash. There's plenty of other
Minority
candidates."
coaches,
Right.
that should get a crack at it
And
first.
then they just got roasted, and Steve Nash was like, "Is this
Well,
my
also,
fault?"
what people weren't considering was that this obviously was signed off on, this Nash signing, by
Right.
Kyrie and Kevin Durant. There's no way that organization hires a coach that they don't agree with
Right.
or that they don't
No, not at all.
think is okay.
And that was a big surprising thing. But yeah, I agree. I think Quinn Snyder should be number one.
Doc
Steve
Rivers,
Nash,
too. I mean, he's been in the
he
discussion
should
a
be in the
little.
discussion. He probably is.
Monty
3-4.
Williams
Yeah.
should get a little chatter, too, especially the way that they finished. I mean, not that it's relevant to this season, but
Right.
going 8-0 in the bubble like they did, and then the acquisition of Chris Paul has absolutely unlocked everything, and they play a Chris Paul style of basketball, and they're second in the West right now.
Yep.
And I don't know. I'm
West
really
has some
impressed
really
with the
interesting
Suns.
teams at the top.
No, they really do. And Denver is climbing the standings
Quickly.
again, and they're seeming to get their groove back. I love watching Jokic play.
Joaquin Phoenix.
I also love Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, that is true.
River Phoenix.
River, Joaquin Phoenix. All right.
Okay.
Do you need any remodeling or cleanup projects done?
This is March, so yeah, I might.
There's plenty of spring cleaning. Clean out that house, clean up that yard. You know who'd be the great person to call for that?
Do tell.
Lake City Hauling. Let them help you save a stressful trip to the dump, and let them haul all of the large and small and medium items even. If you have medium items, they will also haul that. They will remove it all. They'll take your unwanted trash, branches, yard waste, furniture, appliances, and more. Check out their 5-star rating on Google and see why customers continue coming back to Lake City Hauling. They offer junk removal, dumpster rentals, and demolition in the Kootenai County area. If you are outside of those areas, do not fret. Give them a call at 208-425-4130 and ask for more information. Let them know where you live, and they will give you a free, no-hassle quote.
All right.
Keep them in mind for your next demolition or cleanup project. Again, their number is 208-425-4130, and check out their website here, lakecityhauling.com, and see all of the wonderful items they haul. Large, medium, small, anything like that.
Okay.
Let them help you haul it. All right, we got bracket season. We got March Madness. It is March 18th. The first 4 start today. Unfortunately, it's only 4 games. That is the worst part about March Madness is today, which is saying something because today's still awesome.
Pretty cool.
But the best
the
day,
fact that we get UCLA and Michigan State in a playing game is
hilarious.
Pretty incredible.
It is very incredible. The best days of the year happen tomorrow and Saturday.
Yes.
Where it's just absolute pandemonium. Makes you really just want to yell whammy, just in the middle of the day. Just a big shot goes down and just whammy. You just love it.
It makes me want to go back to like K through 12 where the teachers like take the day off and they don't really care and everybody's just like
and they put up all the games on the projector and you're like this guy. And no, it was awesome. And the best part too was in senior year and you're like I don't care about it's March. I graduate here in a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave school early and I'm gonna go watch some basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
I have way better things to do than be here at school right now where the second half literally doesn't matter to any of my future.
I forgot what this feels like and it's obvious.
Right.
It was the first major thing to get canceled last year. I mean, you
terrible.
and I were, we had just met, and we were kind of talking about what we wanted this show to be.
Yeah.
And then
I was planning on traveling, going to these games, and we're like, well, we can't probably start it until after I get back. So it was like right after the 1st of April, let's, really get this thing going. And then everything hit, and we're like, all right, well, we'll talk in 2 months. And then we started it, and now we're on episode 37, and March Madness is back in Indianapolis only. First 4 start today. The first tip, I think, is at 2:37 Pacific time.
I love the conviction in which you said that with. Yep.
2:10 Texas Southern against Mount St. Mary's of the Blind. Not actually of the blind, but I do like that joke. And then what's really stupid, though, is it's only an hour and 17 minutes until the next game tips off. God forbid they don't let all these games just get their full 2-hour time slot. That would be terrible.
I actually kind of like it because if one of the games kind of sucks, you can toggle over to the other one, and you at least have an option if one of them's a total drag.
All right,
I don't mind
that's
it.
Fine. Then the one that Zag fans want to watch is the 16 seeds Appalachian State against Norfolk State today at 5:40 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
That will determine who the Zags play on Saturday at 6:20 on TBS.
Yeah, we got to wait a long time into the
know,
weekend to watch the Zags play.
I hate that they're at 6:20.
I was scrolling down all of the matchups on ESPN, and I had to get they're the last game of the day.
It's terrible.
I was surprised. I don't know. Has that ever happened before? Not that it matters.
Yeah, but it is very weird. Maybe it's because they're the number 1 overall seed. Would be my guess.
Let me ask you questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw you tweet out. I don't know if it was if you took issue with it or if it was just a general annoyance, but you were talking about, why don't you just put every team that the Zags have already beat out of conference this year in their region? Would you disagree in saying that the Zags have the easiest path to the Final Four?
So it's interesting. So this is I've thought about this take since Selection Sunday. I think you could argue that they might have a more difficult path than anybody is giving it credit for, because I get that they've beaten 3 of the teams that are in their bracket: Iowa, Virginia, and Kansas. But isn't there an argument to be made that it might be more difficult to play them a second time?
Sure.
I mean, like that was my first thought. I was like, if anything, there's more motivation for these guys to want to come back and smash them. Like they have been. The talk about how great GU has been all year is riding on the coattails of beating these teams. If they're truly great, go out and do it again. For sure. And for sure. And so I don't know and see the thing with March, though, and Jay Bill has talked about this, nobody has an easy path. I think Michigan has a really hard path.
Michigan is brutal.
And they're so screwed.
So bad.
They're so screwed. I'd be surprised without Livers, without him. I'd be surprised if they make it to the Elite Eight. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they make it to the Elite Eight.
I don't know. They also haven't been playing super well in the last couple weeks of the season.
No, they've been beat too often. So I guess mainly the what I wanted to talk about is the brackets. I actually haven't done a bracket yet, which is really weird, but I need to do that by 9-10 or whatever tip-off is for the actual first. I hate that they call the first 4 the first round. It's so stupid.
It's not.
So dumb. I need to do a bracket, and I think I already know who's going to win.
Illinois.
Nope.
Oh, shit. Baylor.
Your Gonzaga Bulldogs. Whammy!
Oh.
The Gonzaga Bulldogs will be raising the trophy with the confetti flying all around come April whatever day. I don't even care.
I think it's April 5th.
April 5th, sure. Doesn't even matter. They don't care. They'll play anyone, anytime, anywhere. Big Zags guy. Very confident. We'll see what happens. But that's my pick to win it all. And that'll be my pick probably in all of my brackets.
I'm not gonna lie. That I on my bracket, I had them winning too.
Who do you have in the championship game?
Baylor, and it's more so just because I wanted to see that regular season matchup so damn badly.
You're just hoping that it happens.
That I'm hoping that it happens. I think I have Texas in the Final Four, and then I saw that like Seth Greenberg and basically every other ESPN analysis had Texas in the Final Four, and I was like, wow, okay, I guess I'm not that original.
Which is kind of interesting, but
hey, you know, Shaka's been there.
Yeah,
He's done it before, and that's all you need.
Worst team.
That's all you need to know. Yeah, exactly. I'm so excited. I don't really have much more to say. I'm not going to act like I've been watching college basketball all year and that I have like this great insight of analysis on all these different teams that nobody's even watched a single game of until maybe their conference tournaments. I'm just really excited. Not a big fan of the schedule change. I don't care to be watching these things on Monday. I'd prefer a Thursday, but it's whatever. It's here. It's back. Nature is healing. Let's go.
Do you know anyone with a gambling addiction?
No, but I hear they should call 1-800-GAMBLERS.
That is actually really funny that there is a hotline that is called that.
No.
My buddy Tim is probably the most addicted. Hold on. Out of everybody I know, he probably is the most addicted to gambling. I'm not saying he's a gambling addict.
Shout out Tim.
But he does love to throw down some money. And
I respect
he's going to Vegas, so that'll be fun. So is my buddy Craig Silver and a few of his friends and other people that I know. Vegas during the NCAA tournament, I would have to imagine, is wild.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
I just imagine like bookies running around everywhere, just taking money like left and right. It sucks. Washington State, no gambling, sports gambling allowed in the state of Washington. Let's get that fixed ASAP. I would love to give myself like, I don't know, $200 budget every month. And
me
gamble,
too.
Sports gamble. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, no. Barstool just makes it look like the life, and I know that like gambling is also one of the worst things that you could do. But like if you get that high, if you hit that over, I can only imagine the electricity that just surges through your veins.
Yeah, I would be pumped. Real quick before we get here to the Jabronis, Seattle is finally allowing fans here. Actually, the state of Washington Jay Inslee is allowing the Seattle Mariners, the Seattle Sounders, the OL Reign, who is the women's soccer team in Seattle, to host fans at the beginning of the season. The Mariners do, which is actually sweet, by the way. I do want to mention this a little bit longer. So 9,000 fans will be allowed to the Mariners home opener. They haven't decided how many will be allowed.
And that's about full capacity for typical Mariners fans.
Almost for some of those games. They actually have a home opener on opening day.
Oh, they do. So
against the Giants. Like, that's sweet.
Nice.
Like, that's a very unique home opener. I'm pumped
go, Marco.
for it. Let's go, Marco. Go Zags. Roll Zags. Yeah, so that's awesome. All right, Jabroni, what do you got?
Okay. So this is a long clip. I think we're only going to play about 25 seconds of it.
All right.
But this is the beautiful game of basketball. Go ahead, let it roll, Samuel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we got the Nuggets and we got the Pacers, and this is just a series
Green with 9 to shoot, takes a
caliber in which I have never seen. So the full video is about 56 seconds, and apparently the video that we're watching, when they posted it at 56 seconds, apparently the actual series took too long and was longer than a minute.
Murray's going to shoot it. Falling away.
We'll let a couple more shots go up.
Now goes Jokic. Nuggets get a reset.
Get the idea,
Jokic got to get out of the key.
So bad.
This is the second time in the last few weeks that Denver has made their way into my Jabroni. The last time was the fast break at the end of regulation, in which they could have, driven to the basket and tied the game, but decided to, just chill out around the three-point line. But just my Jabroni is a beautiful game of basketball.
A big old NBA game of basketball.
That's right.
That is very, very awesome. That video, when I did see that, made me laugh, and also reinforces the fact why the college game is better purely based off of fundamentals and watching. Now, you could argue that the athleticism and the skill is better in the NBA, and that makes it more fun, but college game runs better sets and is cleaner than the NBA.
I think that's dissipating. I think that's going away. You probably watch more college basketball than I do, but a lot of this step back at the end of games, ISO, jacking up threes, that is trickling down to the NCAA without a shadow of a doubt.
I don't know why that's happening, but
because it's a cool thing to do. The influence is the NBA.
Yeah,
the NBA is the standard. All those players, all those superstars, they have so much.
That's only if you hit it, though. If you don't hit it, then it looks terrible.
Okay, but they don't care. They're still going to do it anyway in the hopes that they do hit it.
Why do we have to change?
Yeah, right.
Why do we ever have to change? All right, I got mine. I love some Zags. If this happens, I will probably never be seen on the face of this planet again if something like this happens to the Zags this NCAA tournament. But here is them in the Sweet 16 against UCLA.
Stop. Getting an opportunity to shoot
great
three
team.
for the tie.
Here we go. It's a 1-point game. GU's up by 1.
71-70. So even with 2 made free throws, UCLA will still have a chance if they can rebound
ready.
and tie this game up.
19.7 seconds here.
Derek Rebounder on the baseline. And the only guy that you might think of fouling is Jeremy Pargo at 69%. They throw it to Morrison.
Inbound out of
He holds
here.
on.
Pass it over to
We don't want to foul Morrison. You make him get it over half court.
He's
You know you
6'9",
gotta foul.
6'10". Oh, God. He literally just had no idea. Pass down from a follow to somebody there.
He could have done like.
And Derek Rebounder was just like, I'm going to go win it. My 6'1" body is going to go drive coast to coast and go put it up. Joke's on him. Gets tipped away. Arizona steals. UCLA steals it. They're going pumped. Darren Collison's thrilled. Poor Adam here is having a bad day.
Man, so many of those UCLA guys went pro.
It's crazy. That was a great UCLA team. UCLA for a probably 7-year stretch. Just
Ben
pumped
Howland,
out.
he had those Bruins and ship shape. Yeah,
He had those Bruin NBA talent.
Yeah, I remember I still lived over on the west side in Seattle when that was happening, and my dad was always a big Gonzaga fan, having grown up in Spokane, and obviously at the age in which I was when that happened, I didn't really understand the gravity and the magnitude and what I called him Gonzaga. So that was the thing.
Good.
But I just remember my dad being heartbroken.
I cried.
I bet you did.
Yeah. There's only been a few times I've cried.
You want to know my closing time?
I do. I'm very curious.
All right, so Sam's going to let me talk over this video. But
That's so nice of Sam.
I know, he's a great guy, great producer.
Best producer.
So this is LeBron James in high school, and the tweet was something to the effect of, imagine having a long day of Algebra 2, getting done, and having to go play against LeBron James. And what I want to do with my closing time is, like, we bash and we rag on LeBron James a lot on this show. It's not for his play on the court. It's more for his quotes. It's more for the way he tries to brand himself, some of the things that he says, some of his behavior, all of the theatrics and everything. He's a
monster.
He's incredible. He's incredible. And honestly, it's so impressive with him being famous at the age of like 14 or 15 and being the chosen one and actually living up to it.
It doesn't happen
and never having an off-court incident, always being a stand-up guy, doing things.
Yep.
He's a very charitable, obviously, guy. He's a good human being. We get annoyed just as we would with anybody that says some of the things that he did. Like, he's already campaigning that he has the 2 toughest NBA titles in history. The 3-1 comeback against the Warriors, which, yes, I will give you that. However, the one in the bubble, no, not so much. You beat the Blazers, Rockets, Nuggets, and then Miami Heat without Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic. So spare me on that. But I just wanted to kind of,
give him some love.
Give him some love because we talk down on him a lot, and he really is incredible. And I think, once he retires and there's time that's elapsed after his career, I think we're going to appreciate him a lot more. So,
All right. Fair enough.
LeBron love. Shout out.
Just giving some love to LBJ.
Yeah, what you got?
All right. Mariners, spring training.
I've heard.
Spring training does not matter in the slightest.
They're pretty good in spring training most years, aren't they?
Yeah. They do a decent job, which is super unfortunate. They continue to break my heart every single year. This time, they have a lot of awesome prospects in camp. The Mariners are making moves. I'm expecting a playoff appearance in 2022.
Ooh,
I've said that, I've actually said that for a while now. Probably the last 2.5 years now. We'll put it down. We'll see what happens. But they have probably one of the more exciting tandems in baseball, Jared Kelenic and Julio Rodriguez. Kelenic will probably see major league time this year. Julio Rodriguez, being only 20 years old, will not probably see the field, T-Mobile Field this season, but that's okay. 20-year-old from the Dominican Republic, 6'3", 180. I mean, just an athletic monster.
Yeah.
I'm really pumped to see what he can do. He has just been putting on a show in general. Everyone is excited to see him bat. Here was his at-bat yesterday. Awesome to see this happen. 2-1 count playing the Royals, interviewing Mike Sweeney. 2-1 count. Julio Rodriguez at the plate, and whammy.
That's well hit into deep
just
center
absolutely
field,
crushes
and
this
that's
ball.
another
I
home
think
run
the
for
exit
the
velo was like
Mariners.
110, and that was a line drive homer too. Like that wasn't a moonshot type homer
Seattle
where
has
you
taken
got
a
under it and just hit it really
12-0
far. Like that is a
lead. Julio
screaming
Rodriguez batting
home
in
run
Tom
in a chilly Arizona sky. Granted, it's still warmer than it probably will be during some Mariners games, but that was a very impressive shot for a guy. Again, he's only 20 years old. He's only been playing professional baseball in America, I think, for like 2 years now. So we'll see what happens. He is projected to be the Mariners' long-term right fielder or left fielder, depending on exactly how he grows. Mariners have guys.
That's what I hear. Yeah, I keep seeing a lot on Twitter about Mariners having guys.
Mariners have guys, and
what could you possibly want more than guys?
There's nothing more. If you don't want guys, there's something wrong with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Quick question before we get out of here.
Question.
Did they give you a quota for how many times you had to say whammy? Because
No.
you said it like
5
six
or
times.
6 times. I know.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be one and done.
They should be pretty happy. No, they wanted whammies and gambling addiction. And I got both those in there. I actually
the latter, I am certainly down for.
Yeah, ladder. If you're a gambling addict, 1-800-GAMBLER, and get some help. We're here for you.
We sure are.
We are here. We're here at the Locker Room, presented by Spokane Talks. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. We'll see what happens with the Zags moving forward.
Enjoy the tournament, everybody. Thanks for watching The Locker Room on Spokane Talks. Check us out on Facebook as well as our other platforms. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation by emailing us at info@SpokaneTalksOnline.com. And for more sports news, opinions, and content, follow Justin and me